Let's talk about one of the most popular financial products in France, the assurance vie. You've almost certainly heard of it, but there's a really good chance you're not totally sure what it is. So today, we're going to break it all down, the good, the bad, and what you absolutely need to know. Okay, first things first. Let's just clear up the biggest misunderstanding right out of the gate, the one that comes from the name itself. Assurance vie literally translates to life insurance. So is that what this is? A policy that pays out when you pass away? And the answer is a very clear no. Nope. Despite the confusing name, this is not life insurance in the traditional sense. It's much better to think of it as a special kind of investment account, almost like a wrapper that you put your investments inside. A wrapper that gives them some really powerful advantages, especially if you're in it for the long run. So if it's not what the name says it is, why on earth do so many people have one? Let's dive into its main strengths, because this is where you really start to see the appeal of the assurance vie. The first big strength is just how flexible it is. An assurance vie isn't one single investment. It's a versatile account that can hold two very different kinds of investments. This means you can balance safety with the chance for higher growth, all under one roof. So on one side, you have what's called fonds euros. This is your bedrock, the safe and secure part of the deal. Your capital here is guaranteed, which means you can't lose the money you put in. Now, the trade-off, of course, is that the returns are pretty low, but they're stable. It's kind of like the anchor of your portfolio. And then on the other side, you've got the unités de compte. Now, this is the engine room. This is where you go for growth. Here, your money is not guaranteed. It gets invested in things like stocks, ETFs, those baskets of different stocks, or even real estate funds. The potential for much higher returns is here, but so is the risk of losing money. So you have this fundamental choice to make inside your assurance vie. It's a constant balancing act, right? The security you get from fonds euros versus the growth potential you get from unités de compte. The right mix for you is going to depend completely on your goals and, frankly, how much risk you're comfortable taking. Okay, let's put a number on the screen. Just one. The number 8. This number is arguably the single biggest reason the assurance vie is so incredibly popular. It is the magic number when it comes to one of its most powerful features. So here's why that number is such a big deal. After your contract has been open for 8 years, the tax you pay on any of your profits gets cut way down. You even get a generous tax-free allowance on those gains every single year. We're talking up to 4,600 euros for an individual. It's just a huge, huge incentive for long-term investors. So to recap the main advantages real quick, you get that amazing tax break after 8 years, you get access to both safe and growth-focused investments in one place, and it's also a surprisingly effective tool for estate planning, which makes passing on your assets a lot smoother. But it's not all good news. Of course not. For all its strengths, the assurance vie has one major, sneaky weakness that you absolutely, positively need to be aware of. And that is the fees. I love this quote from the investing legend John Bogle because it just hits the nail on the head. He said, "What you don't see in fees, you lose over the years. They can be so subtle, almost invisible, but their effect over time, it can be absolutely devastating to your returns." So, what are these fees we're talking about? Well, you'll typically run into 3 main kinds. There are entry fees, which you pay just for the privilege of putting your money in. Then you have management fees, which are charged every single year on your whole investment. And then there are arbitrage fees, which you pay anytime you want to switch your money between different funds inside the contract. And here is the really crucial part. Even a fee that sounds tiny, like 1 or 2% a year, can have a massive negative impact on your long-term performance. It just acts like a constant drag, slowly eating away at your returns and crippling the magic of compound interest. And beyond the fees, there are a few other potential headaches to keep in mind. The online platforms can sometimes be pretty clunky and outdated. Depending on the company, your investment options might be more limited than you'd like. And finally, getting your money out quickly isn't always as straightforward as it is with other types of accounts. All right, we've seen the good, we've seen the bad, so let's pull it all together. What do you really need to remember about the assurance vie? The key really is to see it as a complementary tool in your financial toolbox, not a one-size-fits-all solution for everything. So let's just run through the essentials one more time. The key things to keep in your head are that amazing tax advantage after 8 years, the access to both safe and growth investments, how useful it is for estate planning, and, of course, that huge warning to always compare the fees. So what's its main job? Well, its purpose is to be a long-term, tax-efficient vehicle to help you diversify your overall investment portfolio. It's not necessarily meant to be your only investment account, but it can play a very specific and really valuable role alongside your other investments. If you take only one single thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. The fees can vary wildly from one company to another, so the single most important thing you can possibly do is compare different contracts. Finding one with low fees is absolutely critical for your success in the long run. And that leads us to the final question, the one that only you can answer. Now that you understand its strengths, its weaknesses, and what it's truly for, you can make an informed decision. Is an Assurance V the right complementary tool to help you reach your financial goals?